Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends and family. You know I had to hear my Feeding the Duck song.
Oh my God. Good evening, everyone.
That is my jam. Feeding the ducks, feeding the ducks. Okay. All right. I'm ready. I'm ready to get in.
Well, let's go. Let's go.
Mic check, mic check, mic check. 1, 2. Can anybody hear me? Mic check, mic check, mic check. 1.
I'm still listening to Feeding the Ducks.
That means you can hear me. Mm-hmm. Let us know who's on the call. Good evening, Mahogany Jones in the house.
Hey, Mahogany.
Hey, Mahogany. You be cracking me up with those videos you be sending me. Hilarious. Okay, so today we are going to jump right in. For those of you who were not with us last week, we are in our housing empowerment series. Mm-hmm. And last week, what did we talk about? See how she did it.
Why you
on the spot?
On the spot.
On the spot.
Jesus, I can't remember yesterday.
If you remember what we talked about. Text us, type chat, put a comment in the chat. What did we talk about?
Not affordable housing. Not golly. And I know it. It's right there. I just can't
Okay, going once, going twice. I'm not gonna say it.
You gotta say it for somebody.
I'm gonna let y'all figure it out.
Okay, let me figure it out.
This week, I know it's gonna come to you.
It is gonna come to me because I'm looking right dead at it.
This week we are talking about affordable housing. So, what I want to really address
fear.
That was part of it.
The things that keep us from buying a house. Mm-hmm. Was that last week? Or was that the first week?
We talked about the steps.
The steps to buying a house.
The steps of home ownership, yeah.
Okay.
And fear, that's one of the things that keeps us from taking those steps, right? And so that is
leverage.
Yeah, we talked about leveraging home equity.
Okay. Got it.
Man, I don't know how that actually.
That was the first week.
That actually escaped me. I'll be honest with y'all. HELOCs. Right. Okay. Yeah, so
that was part of it.
HELOCs. It was one of the ways to leverage your home equity, and we talked about what you can do with that home equity, and one of those things that we talked about was investing. You can use that money to invest. So I'm gonna just spill the beans a little bit here. I don't even know what we were originally going to do for the month of September, but I'm extending housing empowerment through the month of September. But the month of September, we're going to be specifically talking about investing. So when we come back, and I'm hoping we can do it next Tuesday because that's the day after Labor Day, and I know I'm traveling, and you'll be back probably too, right? Well, I hope we'll
Yeah,
do
I'll
it.
be back
But we're going to
Monday.
do
Yeah.
real estate investing 101. So if you've ever had any interest at all in investing in real estate, that is the session that you want to be on. And tell a neighbor, tell a friend, tell a family member, that's the one you want to be on next Tuesday. Today, we are ending this segment of housing empowerment with affordable housing. And what we're really doing is looking for creative solutions, right, to affordable housing. Because in my experience, what I've noticed is that when we talk about affordable housing, most times people immediately think government and government assistance. Like, what is the government going to do to help us with affordable housing? Are they going to build some, housing and give tax incentives? Are they going to do Section 8? What can the government do to make the housing more affordable for people? I want to think beyond that, right? I don't want us to be so dependent on what can the government do. So this session is really about creative solutions. And I want you guys to participate. I want you guys to contribute to the conversation by typing in your ideas on creative solutions to affordable housing. Let's first start talking about the problem, right? So if we're talking about affordable housing, that means the problem is what? Unaffordable housing, right? So really, the title should be unaffordable housing because that's really the issue, right? The housing is very expensive these days, and that's just a reality. And unless you are doing pretty well, in terms of your job and your income, the average American now is struggling with the cost of housing, and the costs just keep going up. Right? If the price of the house isn't going up, then the interest rates are going up, which makes the monthly payment high, right? And it's almost as if you don't have a two-person household, then as a single person, unless you really, really want to just, downsize to only what you need, just enough what you need. Unless you're doing that, then housing can become unaffordable, right? Even if you're renting, right? Oftentimes when we first get that lease, it's affordable, or else we wouldn't have chosen that particular property, or that landlord would have denied us because they can see in our application that we don't make enough. Generally, when you get the lease, you can afford it. But what happens is most landlords and property owners build in an annual increase, right? Many of our clients, our property owner clients, they specify 4% annual increase. So every year, your rent is going to increase by 4%. That's just the rent. That doesn't say anything about the other expenses that you have in addition to your rent, right? So you still have, in most cases, utilities, right? And depending on what type of unit you have, you may have water, gas, electric, right? And if you have the internet, you've got that as a utility, cable, what you don't have is you don't have a lot of maintenance and upkeep, right? So that's probably the the good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But what you also don't have, again, is that equity that we talked about last week.
Mm-hmm.
Mahogany said, as soon as my rent went up, my pets became emotional support animals, so I don't pay pet rent.
Well, that's a good way to get out of it, because that's another expense too. If you have pets, then you have to pay that pet deposit.
And I didn't even think about that. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have a tenant.
It.
Yep, we have a tenant who, when she rented, apparently she didn't have that dog.
She did not.
Because and that's why I'm not dressed up today, y'all. I've been working on a house, doing some, not heavy maintenance, but I had to go change some furnace filters on the rental property that we own. And the young lady who lives there got a dog, a husky, right? A big dog. And so we had to charge her what? A pet deposit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's for that reason that we don't mind going up on rent, because we know there's a good possibility that when we get that property back, we're going to have to do some repairs, if for nothing else, because of the pet. Yeah. Because they'll scratch up stuff. The smell itself is in there that you get used to. If you have pets, you don't realize it's there. But if a new person walks in, they immediately smell it, right? So you got to get that carpet replaced, because a lot of times cleaning just won't do when you're dealing with pets. So there's that annual increase, and that can get expensive. So by year 3, if you're renting, oh my goodness, year 4, don't even go to year 5, because it's just going to be ridiculous. It's just stacking on top. That's,
especially now. Like before rents got crazy, I have some tenants that's been occupants of homes for 5, 6, 7 years. A long time. So, but that's because the rent started off low when they moved in. So the increases, but now if you're just going in to a rental, it's a mortgage.
When I rented the condo that I was in before I bought this house that we're in today, she never went up on rent. I think, and I started off with, I take that back. I started off, I want to say $875. And I stayed in that apartment. It was a condo for 9 years. Stayed in that condo for 9 years, and she only went up on rent twice. It went from $875 to $925, and it stayed there for many years. And then it went from $900 to $950, and then that's when I moved out. Right when it went up to $950, I never paid $950. I don't think. Almost 10 years.
How did she make money?
And a good question. She may have bought it real good and just was thinking, let me just keep a good tenant in there, because then I'll be able to sell it. The downside is that was those units, that area went down, and those owners couldn't sell for what they thought they were going to be able to sell it for. So I'm sure she didn't make a profit off of it.
Sure.
Yeah. But the point being is those days are gone.
Yep.
Yeah, you don't really find too many landlords who will keep the rent the same for that long period of time. And so again, what we're talking about is unaffordable housing. After about 3 or 4 years, that housing becomes unaffordable. And here's why. Most people's merit increases on their job is about 2 to 3%, if they get it. But your rent is increasing at 4% guaranteed, whether you get a raise or not. And that's where we miss it.
Yeah.
Right? So your rent is increasing faster than your income on your job, right? In most cases. So unless you switch jobs and bump yourself up to higher income brackets, if you stay on that same job for 5 years, your rent will put you put you in the poorhouse,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's what creates unaffordable housing in the rental market. Similarly, even if you own your own home, taxes and insurance goes up. Maybe not every year,
Right.
but it does go up periodically. And your principal should stay the same if you got like a 30-year fixed. But if you got an ARM, which is an adjustable rate mortgage, it can go up, right? And so you still have to be careful, because if you have those moving parts, then the house that you stay in that was affordable at one time could become unaffordable over time, right? What's that?
Oh my God.
Tell y'all, I went to the office complaining about the rent increase, and the lease lady said, "Didn't you get a raise?" Oh my God. Didn't you get a raise? And you should have told her my raise wasn't as big as your raise. And that's how it goes. And again, Mahogany, that's another reason why we promote home ownership. So I did give you the disclaimer that even in a home, your expenses can increase, but you do still have more control over it in a home than you do in an apartment or in a rent situation.
Right.
Whether you're renting a house, apartment, a condo, a townhouse, it doesn't matter. That landlord, that owner controls your destiny when it comes to your living expenses, your housing expenses. Right?
Yeah, because even taxes, you have the ability to appeal them.
Yeah.
And possibly get them lowered.
Yeah. I learned from our investor. He said, no matter what, just appeal your taxes all the time, unless they tell you. So we use a company called Onwell now, and they'll tell me, don't appeal them this year because you're lower right now than they will be if we appeal them, right? So because once they appeal them one year, they get it lower. The way it works in DeKalb County, they have to stay that way for 3 years, right? And so you don't want to go back and appeal it if it's going to cause you to go higher. But to your point, you can appeal your taxes. You can shop for new insurance, right? So you have some level of control in that respect. And your principal and interest will stay the same if you have a fixed mortgage, 30-year fixed, 15-year fixed, 20-year fixed, whatever it is. You know what that payment is going to be for the life of that loan, right? And so you got better control over it. Now, what then makes housing, even if you are a homeowner, so unaffordable today? Well, what's happening now is that the interest rates are high, right? Let me back up. Here in Atlanta, the prices of houses were increasing at an astronomical rate. I found out that typically it was like 5% a year. In Atlanta, it was like 7 to 10% a year. So for investors and people who were looking to increase their equity and sell, that was a great thing. But for people who were looking to buy, if you didn't catch it at the right time, you're going to pay a little higher price. But that's why I asked my dad this one time. I said, well, when's the best time to buy? He said, now. And what he was saying was, no matter when, now is always the best time to buy a house, no matter what the interest rates are doing, no matter what the prices are doing. Find something that you can afford, because it's going to keep doing that, right? You want to get in and lock yourself in and let time do the rest, right? So, for example, again, I'll use this particular house. I bought this house that I'm in 2013, October 2013. So we're coming up on ooh, 12 years now.
Mhm.
And that flew by
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this to all of y'all who are sitting on the fence about buying houses. It flies by so fast, you'll blink and 10 years are gone.
Mhm.
But guess what? You've gotten 10 years worth of equity in there too. So, and that comes real fast. So I bought this house in 2013 for $163,280. 79 cents. No, I'm just playing. I was playing. I don't know about the cent. $163,280. Today, almost 12 years later, my house could sell for between $350 and $370, possibly $380, right? So 2 times more than what I paid for the house. 3 times more than what I paid for the house. Is that how that works? 2 times. Yeah, 2 times more. 2 times more than what I paid for the house. At least 2 times more, right? And so, but at that time, the 163 felt like you going too fast. You you're doing too much, right? I felt like I was stretching myself because I was used to paying $900 in rent, and this was gonna put me at $965. Crazy. Check this out. For years, I paid $965. It never moved. And guess what? I had a 5-bedroom, 3-bath, 2-car attached garage, brand new, for $65 more than I was paying in rent. And at that time, I thought that was a big deal. Just keep living, and you're gonna find out that wasn't a big deal at all, right? You get in where you fit in, and you better do it quick. Okay, if you can. Right? So
answer Mohammed's question really quick.
What's that? Is it true that if you pay off your house, you technically still don't own it because of property taxes? No, you own the house, right? So you still have to pay taxes, right? So think about. Let me ask you a question. Is it true that if you went to Walmart and bought some socks, you don't own the socks because of taxes? No, you just pay the taxes. You feel what I'm saying? You own those socks, you still just got to pay the taxes, right? It's just like you got to pay insurance. You know, you still have expenses. So taxes are just another expense, like your utilities is an expense. Insurance, as I mentioned, is an expense. Maintenance and upkeep is an expense. Taxes is an expense. The taxes pay for your roads, your bridges, your fire department, your police department. So when you call 911, it's your taxes that send them out to your house when your house catch on fire. Now, to your point, if you don't pay your taxes, then that government entity has the right to put a lien on your house. But if you don't pay your federal taxes, the IRS has the right to put a lien on your house, right? So that's just an expense that says, if you don't pay this, we're going to put a lien on your house. HOA is an expense also, and they also have a right to put a lien on your house if you don't pay them their money. Guess who else has a right to put a lien on your house? A handyman or contractor. If you call somebody out to do some work for you on your house and you don't pay them, they can go down to the courthouse and put a lien on your house, just like the property taxes, just like the HOA. Yes. So those are expenses. It doesn't mean that you don't own your house. It just means that if you don't pay your bills, you don't pay the people that you owe, then you put your house in jeopardy. Does that make sense? But yes, if you pay your mortgage off, you pay your home loan off, you own that house.
You get the deed, the title, just like a car.
Yep, you own that house. You own that title. That's a great question, by the way. Great question. Crystal clear. Okay. So now we're still talking about unaffordable housing. Right now, the prices of houses are high and the interest rates are high. Because the interest rates are high for a long time, it's starting to drive the prices of houses down, which is a good thing. So you can watch how long houses are sitting on the market, and you can see them drop. Find your entry point, get in there and buy if you can. And the reason why I keep saying if you can, because a lot of this depends on how much you make on your job, how much income you bring in, right? That's the if you can part. And depending on where you work or what degree you have, that's going to determine the income level, right? So it's almost as if most people who are not at some kind of a professional level, it becomes very difficult for them to afford houses, even as the prices are coming down. What ways do we make it affordable? Okay, so this is where we're getting ready to talk about. Okay, the government is working on stuff. They always working on stuff.
Always.
You know what their solutions are? Projects, right? Historically, they've had projects. You won't see a whole lot of projects these days anymore.
You about the actual project?
The actual project.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was the project. There was a project that the government was doing. It was twofold. Really, it was disguised as affordable housing, but there's a bigger plan when you put a lot of people who can't afford. I'll say there's a bigger plan when a government groups poverty in the same area.
Yeah.
Bad things happen.
Yeah.
Okay. That was a project. And they called it the projects.
Yep.
You feel what I'm saying? And so if you put a bunch of people who have a poverty mentality in the same place and they don't get out and experience, or they're not exposed to anything better, they're going to stay there. And that was the project. That was the experiment, right? Yeah. They can't get out. Mentally, they can't get out. Anyway, those are kind of government solutions for affordable housing. They came up with a better one. They still kind of did like a project type deal where they call it mixed, not mixed use, but like mixed rent. So it was rental. It was communities that they built where you had one person who was in poverty, a low income person living next door to a high income person. They did that in Eastlake.
Oh.
They staggered it. Low income person, high income person, low income person, high income person. It was another project to see if the high income person will have some influence on the low income person from a mentality standpoint, and what does that do to the neighborhood? It's a project. People coming up with these ideas and they playing with people's lives, right? That's the government's idea of affordable housing solutions. Reason I'm bringing that up is because we have to step up to the plate and be more responsible and proactive about addressing the issue of housing affordability ourselves, or else somebody else is going to be guiding your life, putting you into these, in these types of communities under these types of circumstances, and that may not be where you want to be. So let me start throwing out some ideas, and then I want you to start throwing out some ideas as well. All right. So you and I have talked about this. This is one of my favorite ones. We have not done this, but we want to.
Right.
And this is called generational homes. So generational homes, the concept behind generational homes is that you have multiple generations living in the same house. Okay, so what does that mean? Multiple generations. Let's say you and I have a house that is suitable or conducive for our parents to live in.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's our generation and our parents' generation. So because they're getting older, it may not be a good idea for them to stay alone by themselves as they age. And if we have the right type of house, they can age in place with family, right? And we could share the expenses. Generational homes. So you got us, you've got parents. You can also go the other way and have adult children. All right. So I know some of you may feel some kind of way about that, but hear me out. If you build a house or buy a house that's conducive of having multiple generations within the house, in a way that everybody ain't all on top of each other,
Right.
You know, everyone has their space, right? But everyone has to contribute financially, right? Not that you are an adult child and you just, what's the word they used to say? Freeloading, right? No, if you're contributing, like you know that this is everybody's house, and so then you're paying your portion of whatever the expenses are. That's generational homes, right? And so you want to have a home that allows everyone to feel like it's their home too, not just like they're squatting, right? And that's important. So the reason why I keep slipping up and saying build, because these homes don't really exist yet. They do. I mean, there's
in a sense.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like you find very wealthy people who have large houses and many people stay in the house, right? Those houses were built for wealthy people. Now we got to figure out how to take that same concept and make it affordable for us. The reason why I like that solution, that approach, is because, you know, it's not to say that we're going to live like this forever. It's to say this is what we can do so that everybody can have a nice place to stay while they're working on their next move.
Exactly.
And you've got to be very clear about that, right? Cole from Martin was a freeloader. That's funny. That is so funny. Right. Right. And so now here's the challenge with that. In our community, and I'm talking about the Black community in the United States of America, so the African American community, somehow we have adopted the idea of when you graduate from high school, you out.
Yeah.
You got to go. You got to either go to school or you got to get a job or you go to the service. One of the three. But whatever it is, you can't stay here. We've raised you. Now you got to go out and do your own thing. Do you know that other cultures around the world don't think like that? I have coworkers who are from other parts of the world, other countries like Turkey, the Middle East, and their culture says that, especially with girls, until that girl gets married, she stays at the house. And also, when she does get married, the two families pool their resources together and they buy that new wedded couple their first house. Buy it cash free and clear. And so guess what? They got a head start compared to our children, because what happens with our children, we kick them out the house, they go to school on student loans, they come out, they go to students on financial, they come out with student loans, and now they got to get a entry-level job, pay entry-level money, and try to get an apartment and try to make it all work. And so they come out struggling.
Yeah, they're already in debt.
Right? But if we had that generational home mentality, even when they got out of school, they have a place to come back to while they build their income. right? And the reason why I say you do still have to put some type of you have to set some type of an exit goal, right? Or some type of succession plan. So it's either going to be an exit goal or some type of succession plan. What do I mean by that? So exit goal means, okay, you can stay here and pay your share of the expenses. I don't even want to say pay rent. There's a mortgage. You're going to pay your share, your percentage of the mortgage, your percentage of the utilities, your percentage of the maintenance and upkeep of this where you stay. And then the exit plan is when you are financially ready, you can then afford your own house. A lot of times what that means is, here's the not just financially ready, when you're life ready. Because let's say you do have a daughter that does that, and then she finds her life mate and they decide they want to be together. That's a good time to make your exit plan, right? So you plan the marriage, you plan the wedding, you get married, and the next place you go is to your place, right? So that you can perhaps have children and raise your children and do it the way you want to do it.
Right.
Exit strategy, exit plan. The succession plan is, okay, let's say you were able to buy this big, huge, or build this big, huge house that everybody stays in. Eventually, you're going to die. I'm going to die. What happens to that house after that? It can keep going. The family can keep using it for that purpose with that understanding. Exit. Certain people going to have exit strategies, exit plans. Certain people going to have succession plans. You feel what I'm saying? Generational homes, right? Can you do both? Generations, like parent, children. You can do both. Yeah. Because we've even thought about like doing, so when we talk about generation, of course, today, you've heard the term in-law suites. So you've got a house and you may have your 3 bedrooms, and then this 4th bedroom, it's an in-law suite. It has its own bedroom and bathroom, and maybe they have a kitchen, it might be downstairs or something like that, in-law suites. But when we talk about generational homes, you might do something even more creative and have what they call, in the real estate world, we call it an ADU, additional dwelling unit. That's a whole separate structure that's connected to the main house. And so you might have your parents or someone like that living in that ADU. It can have 2 or 3 bedrooms in and of itself. It's definitely its own kitchen, 1 or 2 baths, however you want to do it. And so your house, the main house, may have stairs, upstairs, main floor, and a basement. Their house may just have 1 level because they don't want stairs, right? And so you can have a situation like that. But here's the thing: you have to plan for it. Right. And where we have gone, I think what we missed is we've been planning for separation from day one. We've been planning for family separation from the day we got into our last year in high school. That's all we talk about. When I get out of here. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. From the time we got to 12th grade, we've been planning family separation. And now when you get older, you realize maybe family separation wasn't the best strategy, right? Because now we got this affordable housing issue. We need people to contribute
right
to the housing unaffordability dilemma.
Makes it better for everybody. Easier for everybody.
Yep. So that's generational home. So you can have parents, children, both at the same time. But again, you want to do that in such a way where you're still empowering people. You don't want to make people dependent, and you don't want to enable people and put them in a situation where they got so comfortable, that's all they do, and they ain't never going nowhere. They're not striving for anything. Everything is so easy. You don't want to do that, right? But you want to do it in such a way where you have a strategy. Right. All right. So we talked about the benefits. Shared costs reduces the financial burden on everybody, right? Built-in support for child care, elder care, and household responsibilities. We didn't talk about that. When you do that, you have built-in support, like picking up the grandchild, taking the grandchild to school, helping the parent get to doctor's appointments. You've got that built-in support system. It strengthens the family unit and generational wealth transfer. When everybody's together, they can hear these conversations at the dinner table. We don't even do that anymore, right? We can talk about generational wealth and what the plan is for the family long term. We don't have those conversations anymore. Everybody is so separate, right? So generational homes actually solves more than one problem. It addresses more than one issue. It addresses affordability, but it also brings the family back together. It also creates an environment where those conversations about the family's goals and vision and future and wealth at the dinner table can happen.
Right.
Boom.
Yeah.
All right.
I like Mahogany's comment about family separation created part of the wealth gap
in Black
America.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what we're talking about. So, I think if done properly with intentionality and planning, generational homes could actually help that. And here's a saying that you probably heard: God works in mysterious ways. So whenever we see a problem, sometimes you got to look at where's the opportunity in that problem. Where's the silver lining in this cloud of doubt, right? So yes, unaffordable housing is a big issue, but if it causes us to come back together as a family, guess where the family will be 10, 20, 30 years from now? Boom. Good job.
Yep.
Mahogany. All right. So here's another one. That was here's another one. This is one that you and I recently started talking about at the Flipology conference. You've heard of tiny homes. We have heard of tiny homes. And we have heard of container homes, right? We had not heard of micro homes. So micro homes is just a little bigger than tiny homes. And with all three of these, micro homes, tiny homes, container homes, you can build villages, right? They're more affordable because it costs less to build them. It costs less to run them, meaning maintaining the utilities. It just uses a whole lot less resources, right? With the micro homes and the tiny homes and the container homes. Now, when I saw a micro home, I was like, oh, I could live there. You and I could live there. Yeah. Because we look at the house that we have, we're like, there's a lot of space. And if it were just the two of us, we'd be like, we got a lot of space for two people. And if we got to the point where we really said we don't want it no more, we could go to micro home. Especially in the I couldn't do a tiny home. I couldn't do a tiny home.
Well, micro home. Well, okay. Probably could. Maybe in some years. Not right now.
Not right now. Yeah. Doesn't have to be right now.
Down the line, I could do a micro home down the line.
Yeah, I can see that.
I could never do
especially
it.
the ones that we saw.
For me, is a she shed.
Yeah, especially the ones that we saw at the conference. The one that the guy, his name happened to be Booker T. Washington.
Yep.
His real name is Booker T. Washington.
Yeah.
It's a guy here in Atlanta who builds micro home communities. And the way he set them up, it's like it has that community. It's a small community, took up just, maybe few acres, maybe 5 acres of land, and built these tiny homes, but he built everything that community needs, like the cleaners, the restaurant, the stores, all right there in this little tiny home community. And it was on land that the city didn't even want. They kept driving by, the weeds was growing up, and he just bought that land and built out a little tiny home community. And the houses look nice. They're made out of great material, like better material than the house that we're in right now. It just don't take as much material. Right? And so those houses then become more affordable, especially like for older people. You know, they're not huge. They don't have a whole lot of stairs. And it has everything that you need right there. Again, tiny homes, very small. I think of that as like a conversation piece. I wouldn't do it. Yeah, that's what I would get. That's just something to say. Ooh, look how small my house is. Some people say, "Ooh, look how big my house is." Other people say, "Ooh, look how small my house is."
Somebody, it could be a single person. It can be a young person, starting out and don't want something really big. They can, a tiny home might work for them. Tiny home. College student.
And the whole idea or concept behind that is that it's supposed to be so space efficient. Like everything you need is in reaching distance. You probably saw some tiny home shows on TV. If not, check them out on YouTube. And you'll get an idea.
They look really nice though. They are really nice.
And everything in it has multiple purposes. Storage and all of that stuff.
Hidden stuff and walls.
Another one that I'm interested in is container homes.
I've seen those.
So for those of you who don't know what container homes are, so think about the 18-wheelers, trucks that you see driving on the freeway hauling goods, right? The back part of that tractor is called the trailer. On that trailer holds a container, usually a metal container where all of the stuff that they're carrying goes inside of. The trend is now that they're taking those old used containers from those trucks and they're using them to build houses. So they can stack them, they can configure them. There's a software game called Sims. Sims, I think they have the Sims 4 now, and you can build out your own homes and build your own communities. Well, they're doing the same thing with those container homes. Now, here's the thing. It may sound crazy when you just think about the container off the back of a truck, but if you see how creative people are becoming with these containers, you would be like, I didn't even know those were containers. They look like modern custom homes because they can stack them. They're multi-level. They can spread them out. They can twist them and do all kind of stuff, and they look good. And once they furnish them,
amazing.
They look amazing, absolutely amazing. And guess what? Those containers cost little of nothing. So when they start talking about the price of wood, the price of lumber going up, so your house gonna cost, just go get you a container. A few containers, about 4 or 5 containers, and build what you want, right? And they look good. All you have to worry about is make sure that they're insulated and secure, period. End of story. Container homes. I'm interested in seeing some container home communities because they make them very stylish. They make them very stylish. And so, and again, they build communities with these, just like with the tiny homes, just like with the micro homes. They build container home communities, right? And so with all 3 of these, what they're doing is, again, promoting a community approach to affordable housing, right? And so these are the types of creative approaches that I want us to start thinking about, because we can do this and not have to depend on the government to build us some projects, right? And again, the benefits of those container homes, those tiny homes, those micro homes, is the low cost of construction, the maintenance costs. It's a great opportunity for first-time home buyers. And it's going to be a conversation piece because, when you're the first to do something, people are like, they got to come by and see your little house.
Yeah.
See this house. Then they're going to get jealous and be like, I want one. Right? And then it can also be a bridge to long-term home ownership because guess what? Those things are now trending, which means that if you get in now, 5-10 years from now, it's going to be the thing to do, and your container home going to be very, very valuable. The market value of your tiny home or your micro home or your container home will give you enough money to buy something else that you want, right? Okay, a bigger home or whatever it is. It's going to do that. I guarantee that. All right. Lastly, stability plans. This is the other thing that I wanted to talk about when it comes to addressing the unaffordable housing dilemma that we have. Okay. So it's not just about the house itself or the cost of the house. And again, you guys heard me say this before. It's worth repeating. There's the price of a house and there's the cost of a house. Those are two different things. We're talking about the cost of a house. So that includes the price plus everything else that goes into maintaining the house. A lot of times when we think about affordability, in our minds, we're only thinking about the price. I need you guys to consider the total cost. When we started the Abundant Way Ministry, we started off talking about count up the cost, right? So when we talk about these stability plans, it's really more of an empowerment approach, right? We got to think beyond just the price of the house. Once we get people into a house, then what, right? We don't want to see them go into foreclosure and get kicked out the house. We want to see them strive and thrive, not just survive.
Right.
Empowerment is about thriving, not just surviving. And so what we have to do then is we have to develop stability plans on, okay, now that you're in the house, how do we build you up? How do we teach financial literacy? How do we teach investing so that now you're constantly building up your financial aptitude so that you're leveraging this position in your life to get to a higher position in life. And you're building yourself up to the point where you can maintain wherever you are. As you go up, you can maintain, we always talk about people being hood rich. They got that nice car, but now they one paycheck away from being broke, one paycheck away from the repo man, one paycheck away from foreclosure. Stability plan means that we're teaching financial literacy and budgeting, job skills development, right? Because unless you continue to improve your skill set, you won't be able to increase your income. If you improve your skill set continuously, you'll be able to continuously increase your income. So we talk about job skills development, career advancement, entrepreneurial support. So for those of you who have an entrepreneurial spirit and can operate in that realm, we want to be able to teach entrepreneurship, how to start a business, how to run a business, and everything that goes along with that. And then, building what they call cooperative financial models. That means we're going to be talking about investing, real estate investing next week. When you're investing, period, you're putting up money, you're investing money that you make on your job or however you generate your income, you're putting it at risk. And it's one thing to do it by yourself, and you can only do so much. But if you did it as a collective, you might be able to do more, right? And share the risk. So cooperative financial models like group investing, saving circles, and different kinds of co-ops. So that's what we call the kingdom approach, right? equipping people, not only with housing, but with the tools to maintain and grow beyond survival. That's that's really the affordable housing approach, right? It goes beyond just the house. And that's where we have to think. That's how we have to think. It's bigger than just the house. Yes, you need a place to stay. But once you get that place to stay, then what? It doesn't stop there. You've got to go to the next level. The next level is empowerment. All right. All right. So I'm going to stop there because we're almost at time. So what did we talk about? We talked about addressing the unaffordable housing dilemma with affordable housing solutions, creative affordable housing solutions, beyond waiting on the government to do something for us.
Yeah.
Beyond complaining to them.
Yeah. And also too, there's multiple programs out there that you have your first time home buyers program. You have programs for people in education, like teachers, people in medical fields. There's all kind of programs and incentives out there that you can look into also when purchasing your home. So you don't necessarily have to come up with that.
Mahogany, you be cracking me up.
You don't have to come up with that, down payment, so much money. There are ways to get you into it. But again, like you said, you have to really look at, and I mean, you find yourself a good mortgage broker or a lender to work with, and they can tell you how much you can afford based on your current income, so that you don't get out there and bite off more than you can chew, and wind up getting foreclosed.
Yeah. So as we close, I want to encourage you guys to think long term. Don't think only about the house. That first move, that's a first step. And we've even talked about that last week. Just like Mahogany said in the words of the prophet Young Jeezy, then what? Right? And that's how you got to think. And then what? Right? Think long term. Think ownership. Think equity. Think generational wealth. And I want to leave you guys with a call to action. But before I do, I would be remiss if I did not put in this shameless plug while we're talking about housing in general. You've got two experts here who have connections, right? So like you were talking about, how do you get into a house with no money down, no down payment or very little down payment? We've got connections with different mortgage lenders, right? We've had one of them on the call, Clyde Anderson, who's the vice president of community lending at Ameris Bank. And he has loan officers under him who can work with you from a text introduction that I can make, right? So if you are in the market to buy a house, if nothing else, call us for a free consultation, right? We may not, like with you, Mahogany, we won't be able to help you in Ohio. We won't be able to be your realtor, but we can definitely consult with you so that you make the right moves, right? And link up with the right people, right?
Yeah.
So shameless plug, Davis Asset Realty, MDD Asset Management, right? I'm not going to put my phone number out there right now, but you can always message us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. You can even reach us on YouTube, I guess now. Yeah, Mahogany's always on YouTube.
Yeah.
So that's all I want to say about that. And then the call to action. And this is what I'm going to end with. As it relates to creative housing solutions, I want you to think about what creative housing solutions can you explore
Mm.
for yourself, for your family, for your community.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about a few. I want you to think beyond the ones that even we talked about. Beyond the government,
Mm-hmm.
we got to get creative, y'all. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's it for today. Next week, we are going into real estate investing 101. I don't know why God is leading me this way, because I know September was supposed to be something else. It probably was boring, but I guarantee you this one ain't going to be boring. Mahogany, I know you're invested in the stock market. I'm going to be talking about how do you invest in real estate.
Mm-hmm.
Both are good. They both carry risk, but you know, with knowledge comes understanding. Yeah.
In all thy ways.
In all thy ways, get understanding.
Get understanding.
Yeah. All right. That's all I have for today. Good session, Melly Boo.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad I contributed.
You did. You
Mm-hmm.
did.
Yeah. Good session.
All right. So we're gonna end the call for today. And we look forward to seeing you guys next week.
Next week.
Same time.
Same time.
Same station.
Good night, everybody.
Feeding the duck.